Hello everybody, Omid Fatemi again with you, and we are going to start part 3, actually the module 3 of advanced web page design with CSS. In this module there would be 7 lessons from lesson number 9 to lesson number 15. The first topic is 3.1.1, which will be about using margins. So in lesson 8, we talked about the colors in the website, the image maps, banners, buttons, and we have seen all of them in CSS and HTML5 working together. Here in lesson 9, we are going to learn about margins, padding, alignment, centering, and also floating. In this topic, we are going to talk about margins. For laying out all of the content in a web page, we use 4 main properties in CSS. The first 2 properties, they are trying to add a space around an element, would be margins and paddings. The next 2 properties would be used to place the element in relation to the other elements in the page, which would be align and float. And to control the appearance and position of the web page elements, we use these 4 CSS properties. As you could see, using CSS in your HTML code, they work together to make a good layout for your page design. So margins, adding space to an element outside the rectangle area of an element. For example, let's say this is our element in a page. When we are adding margins to that, we actually put some space around that. For example, let's say that we put some margins in the left, so it means here, or we put some margins on the top, so it means that it generates a space with this element with the from the items on the top of that. If we can put some margins in the right or margins in the bottom. Margins, as I showed you, it could have different properties: left, top, right, or bottom. Margin top sets the top margin, margin right, the right margin, margin bottom, the bottom margin, margin left, the left margin. If you just use a shorthand property like margin, then it means that you would like to specify all of the 4 margins the same with the property margin. I will show you more example in the next slide. You could use also auto. Auto margin tries to automatically aligns the element related to surrounding elements in the page. You could use pixels, as we talked before, points, ems, or even you could use percentage. Percentage is considered of the containing element of the element that we are using. We are trying to put margins for that. Examples. For example, you write margin colon 15 pixel semicolon. So it means that you are setting the margin for all of the 4 margins: left, top, right, and bottom. If we just write margin left equals to 25%, then it means that we just specified the left margin, which would be 25% of the size of the containing element. We could use shorthand syntax also. In addition to margin alone, we could use for example, two numbers. For example, we can specify two numbers, and the numbers are in trouble order: top, right, button, left, clockwise rotation. Top, starting from top, right, bottom, left. For example, if we just use margin column 5 pixel, 10 pixel, 15 pixel, 20 pixels, semicolon. So it means that we are using 5 for top margin, 10 for, then it is R, right margin, then 15 for button margin, and then 20 pixels for left margin. If we use two numbers, like here we are using only 10 and 20, then it means that we are using this for top and button, and we are using this for left and right. So we are just using two numbers here. If you are using three numbers like 5, 10, and 15, then it means that you are using 5 for top, then 10 for right and left, then 15 for the button margin. The same kind of shorthand would be applied for padding in the next lesson, for borders. Borders, again, all of them are in the order of trouble: top, right, button, left. Let's see an example. Let's say that we would like to have some kind of this alignment, this layout. So the first box has no margin in the left and top, and even in the bottom, and the second box have some margin at the top, something at the left, and maybe at the right, so we cannot see it here, and nothing in the bottom. And the next one also, as you could see here. Look at this. For the first div section, div number 1, the CSS that we are using is this. Border would be 5 pixel, and it is a solid border with the black color. The background color would be red here for the box, and the margin is 0. So when we write margin 0, then it means for all of the 4 margins, TRBL margins, as you could see here. Then for number 2, div section number 2, we have border of 6 pixels at the 4 sides: top, left, right, bottom, left. And then we have background color, and here, look at here, margin 5. So this 5 is for the top here, the margin here. Then we have 0, so it means that we have 0 margin at the right. Then we have 0, then it means that we have 0 margin for the button. And then we have 15, so we have 15 pixel for the left margin. Then we have number 3. In number 3, the margins are 0, 0, 0, 75. So 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, and 75 for the left. For div number 4, as you could see, the margins are 25. So the top margin is 25. Then there is 0 for right, 0 for button, and 250 pixels for the left margin. Here, for example, we see a thicker border here, which we didn't like. We wanted to have, for example, 6 pixels for the border, but here it seems that it is 12 pixels. Why? Because it is 6 pixels for the top box and 6 pixels for the bottom box. So what do? We can put smaller border. Remember this here. This was 6 pixels. for the border of that, we could make it 3 here, and also we could make 3 for this border. Also, if you look at that, since the box width was 250 pixels, we were thinking that if I put 250 pixel as the left margin here, then it will bring my fourth box at the end of all of the boxes. But here we can see, no, it didn't happen like that. Not here, not with the green, not with the blue, and even not with the red. Why? Because, for example, the blue box is 256 pixels wide, but it has a margin of 75 pixels. Also, it has a border of 6 pixels here and here. So if we would like box number 4 to be laid out here after the blue box, we should put the margin as the left margin as 250 plus 75 plus 6 plus 6. So what issues did we notice here? The first one was about this margin. So you should make sure that the body has a 0 margin, so your boxes don't move around. So you wanted to have 0 margin, and so we should put a default number of 0 for body element in our CSS. For the border, double border effect, we can put the half of the border for top of the bottom, the lower box, and half for the bottom border of the top box. And for different margin values, we should calculate what should we put for the box, for our box. For example, here we have to put a margin of 250 plus 75 plus 6 plus 6 for box number 4. Now you could think about what we have talked and then try to reply to the reflection questions in the site. For example, what are some advantages and disadvantages of using shorthands? Or how do you decide how to put the unit for the margin? You are going to put pixels, points, percentage, or so on. And if you see some kind of problem in your alignment in the page, how are you going to debug it, to fix it? For the assignment, I would like you to create a web page that displays 4 colored boxes with different margins. The first box, red background, margin of 20 pixels for all sides. The second box, green background and margin of 10 pixels on top and left only. The other 2 would be 0. The third box should have a blue background and a margin of 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 50 pixels on the left and right. Use shorthand for writing these margins. And the fourth box should have a yellow background and a margin of 5% on the top and bottom and 10% on the left and right. And then upcode your CSS and the HTML and also capture the page and upload it in the assignment part. So now go and read the textual content in the site and then reflect on the questions that I've shown you, and then do the assignment, and then would be ready for the next topic video. The next topic would be padding. We talked about margins here, so we are going to talk about paddings. Thank you for your attention and try to be active in the course. Thank you very much.